How is he only a 90 overall? You have Richard Sherman, some old man who can't run for jack.
You need to put respect on Zach Ertz's name and a bunch of other tight ends that should be higher than Rob Gronkowski.
The man hasn't played since 2018. He's not going to be the NL MVP.
And then he goes onto an Instagram live where he seems to have been under the influence, smoking a cigar.
I don't think MVP is indicative of the best player in the league. Welcome back to Go Chat. We're so glad to have you guys back for episode 38. We got a good one coming up for you. We're going to talk about the NBA. The Heat are up 3-1, and so are the Lakers. We're going to preview some Week 3 in the NFL. Of course, we're going to still have our Go of the Number and our Pick'em segment. But let's start off with the GOAT of the number 38. I think this is probably going to be a baseball guy for all of us. So I'll swing it to our baseball guy first, Tommy.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Curt Schilling this week. He had a great career with the Phillies and Red Sox, 216 career wins, a 79.5 career WAR, which is pretty impressive, a 3.46 career ERA, which is respectable, and he was a 6-time All-Star, won 3 World Series, and he was a World Series MVP one of those seasons as well. He's a great pitcher. He may make it into the Hall of Fame this season. Many are projecting him to. You don't think so, Connor?
I don't know, Tommy. I was at the Hall of Fame not too long ago, and I was talking to a lot of the researchers there, and he doesn't have a lot of time left on the ballot, and they just don't know if he's going to get there or not.
Yeah, well, I think you're right. I think it is his final year coming up to get on, so we'll see. He had a great career, so we'll see if he makes into the Hall of Fame, but that's who I'm going with this week.
Good pick, Tommy. Matt, who you picking?
I'm going to go with a little curveball here. Curt Schilling is a great player, but I'm going to go very, very, very far back in the Green Bay Packers history. I'm going to go with Arnie Herber. He was a quarterback for the Packers. A great, that's a great franchise with a lot of great quarterbacks. He ranks 8th in yards for the Packers history, and he's a 4-time NFL champion. Before there was a Super Bowl, there's a championship still. 1-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. It was probably different a while back, being in the 1930s and stuff. But all in all, he's a Hall of Famer, and him and Don Hudson were one of the best quarterback wide receiver duos, especially in those early ages. So I'm gonna go with Arnie here.
Okay, interesting pick, Matt. Connor, you gonna agree with Tommy?
I am going to agree with Tom, and I also just want to say that it's always good when we get a little bit of the backstory on like how the NFL and sports in general were made. I mean, what was it, Arnie?
Arnie Herber.
Arnie was definitely one of the quarterbacks that kind of developed the NFL. So, definitely just a great transition there. But I am going to agree with Tommy. I'm going to go Curt Schilling. Tommy pretty much gave all the accolades. I think the only thing that he missed was that Schilling's a member of the 3,000 strikeout club with 3,116. So, the 6-time All-Stars, 3 World Series MVP. He also won a championship series MVP in the National League. So combine all of that, and it makes a really good pitcher in the Major League Baseball League.
Yeah, I got to agree with Connor and Tommy here. Sorry, Matt, I'm not hopping on the Ernie bandwagon, but it does have to be Curt Schilling here. There wasn't much for the number 38. The 3,000 strikeout club is a pretty exclusive club to be in. The only person who I could find that could compare somewhat is George Rogers, who was a running back for the Saints and the Redskins. He did make 2 Pro Bowls and an All-Pro, along with being the Offensive Rookie of the Year in 1981, and he was also Super Bowl champ. So I think George Rogers is one of the only comparable athletes to Curt Schilling for the number 38, but I think all of these picks are good.
Yeah. I just want to go out of the box. I love to go out of the box. I've picked a couple of questionable calls for some numbers. But, of course, these are different numbers, so we're not going to be able to find an obvious one or, in all of our opinions, an obvious one, even though it's probably obvious to Tommy.
Oh, of course. Well, it's always going to be a baseball person, so that narrows it down for me.
Awesome. Well, we will head into our next segment.
Welcome back to Go Chat. We just had a really good discussion about our GOAT of the Number segment. Now we're going to move into the NBA. the Heat and the Celtics. We're filming this on Friday night. I'm mixing up my days here. Friday night we are filming. The Heat have a chance to close out the series here in Game 5. They're up 3-1. Then we also saw on Thursday night the Lakers take a 3-1 series lead against the Denver Nuggets. But now, the Denver Nuggets have already made 2 3-1 comebacks here in the playoffs this season. So I think the question I want to pose to you guys is, what team that's down in the series right now is in more trouble? Is it the Celtics who haven't been able to close out the series, or have the Nuggets just exerted too much energy and they're going to fall in 5? I'll start with you here, Mike.
Unfortunately, it has to be the Celtics here. We've seen the Nuggets come back from these type of deficits before, and I don't think there's a doubt in anyone's mind that they can do it again. It's just a matter of if they will. And let's not forget that they're one last second shot away from the series being 2-2. While the Celtics, every game with the Heat has been close other than their Game 3 victory where they beat the Heat by 11. So I think the Celtics, they'll win. I think they'll win Game 5, then lose Game 6. The thing with the Heat is they never make the wrong play. They don't turn the ball over. They force a lot of turnovers, and they always make the right play. It's so tough to play a team that is just so their chemistry is insane. Like, honestly, we've never seen a team play to this kind of level that the Heat have played to. They never make the wrong decision. And I think that's what has brought down the Celtics this series, just too many turnovers. When you give the Heat an extra 10 to 20 shots a game, you're going to lose that game against a team that doesn't make mistakes. And it's just frustrating because, turnovers, it's more of a mental thing. But the Heat just have the mental advantage now. And I don't know how that's going to change from what we've seen this series. So the Celtics are definitely in more trouble.
Tommy, what's your point on this here?
Yeah, well, I think that Mike made a lot of good points, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think they're both in trouble. I think that the Lakers and the Heat are going to move on. And I agree with you, Mike. If I had to pick one, it would be the Celtics. But I think that you're seeing the two best teams in the NBA right now, the Lakers and the Heat, that are playing really well, and they're going to continue. And looking forward to that series, hopefully, if that does end up happening. That'll be fun to watch. But yeah, you made a lot of good points, Mike, and I'd have to agree with you.
Matt, I'll throw it down to you here.
I think both teams are going to lose, but I'd say the one more in trouble is going to be Boston Celtics. I mean, what Jamal Murray and those Nuggets, those are hardworking Nuggets can do, coming back from 3-1 twice already. And the Heat are, like Mike said, they're making every play. They're making every play right, which makes them the better team overall in general. So, the Heat are just they're looking very good. I am very impressed by them this whole playoffs. But Nuggets, can they win? Sure. Obviously they can win, but I don't think they're going to happen. But more in trouble for the question, it's going to be the Celtics.
Yeah, I would have to agree with all you guys kind of unanimously. I mean, both teams are definitely in trouble. I don't see the Lakers losing that series. We saw throughout the playoffs when LeBron had 2-1 series leads in all of his series, he really turned it up. He played the way he had to play to get the wins in those series, and I don't think it's going to be any different against the Nuggets. They had a great playoff run. I just think they've exerted way too much energy into their first 2 rounds to make any sort of comeback here in the final round in the West. And then, the Celtics aren't even playing bad basketball. It's the games have been so close. It's just who has made the better plays down at the end of the game. And it's been Miami. Even Mike alluded to the 11-point Game 3 win. Boston was up 20 points in that game, middle of the third quarter, and the Heat had it down to 6 with 35 seconds left. So, it's the closing out of the games there that's been troubling for Boston. And Miami's been able to spread the floor. They always seem to find the open man, whether it's Tyler Hero cutting to the basket or Andre Iguodala making that dish out pass to Goran Dragic, just to mention 2 of them in Game 4. They always find the open man, and Boston's defense, it looks kind of lost out there. Marcus Smart has played decently well even on the offensive side, but in Game 4 he got fouled out and he wasn't able to be out there when the minutes counted. So Boston's got to be in more trouble here for me just because of the Miami's offense.
You know what's the most interesting thing about the Miami Heat to me? Their margin of error in every game is so slim. But throughout this playoffs, they always find a way to, squeeze through that margin of error. They never make any mistakes, which is just so surprising to me. They always make the shots late in the game, whether it's Tyler Hero throwing up a shot uh, with the shot clock expiring, or Goran Dragic in the corner, or Jimmy Butler with that insane and one against Jason Tatum, or Bam coming over almost like he pretty much almost broke his wrist on that block. Like, all of those plays are vital to the Heat winning every game in this series, and it could easily be 3-1 Celtics the other way. But the fact of the matter is that it's not, right? If the Celtics get that lead like they did in Game 3, they're gonna win. But if it's close at the end of the game, there's nothing that has given me any promise to show me that the Celtics are gonna win.
Mike and I were having a conversation before we came on the show. We were kind of just talking about which team overall is better. And the Boston Celtics, they do have a better makeup. They have the bigger names on their team. But when you come to the playoffs, I mean, it doesn't really matter what names are on your team. We saw the Clippers go down in the second round with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. So it really comes down to what teams want it more. And throughout the East, that entire side of the East, it's been the Miami Heat that have wanted it more. So I don't see Miami Heat losing, maybe even tonight. I think they can win it in 5, if not 5, then 6. And they're set up for a finals matchup against LeBron James, who obviously used to be in Miami. So, I mean, some bad blood there, probably not. It'll be a good series. I mean, being the Miami Heat fan I am, it's going to pain me to say this, but I think the Lakers will wind up winning that finals. But Miami Heat, I mean, they're going to give it all they got. No doubt about it.
Well, I mean, to be honest, like, I think the Heat could definitely win that series. I think I would, if the Heat and the Lakers match up in the finals with the way that the Heat are playing right now, I don't think they're playing like any other team we've seen in NBA history before. So I think I would have to take the Heat in that matchup against the Lakers, because I just don't think the Lakers are as good as an overall team as the Heat are. And you got Bam, who's I think will be capable of guarding Anthony Davis. But we'll talk about that matchup once we cross that bridge.
Absolutely. I guess that kind of wraps up our NBA segment. Matt, do you have anything else to add, or Tommy?
Nuggets, kudos to you for even, for the hard work throughout the whole tournament, or not the playoffs, for beating the quote unquote best player, Mike's opinion. That kind of blew up in his face, but
listen, hey, it's not over until it's over. The Nuggets have shown that.
Yeah,
who knows? They might come back from 3-1 down again.
I'm giving them a kudos for
they did still beat the best player in the NBA.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they're not going to lose. I'm giving them a kudos for getting all the way here.
Yeah.
I hope to see them. I actually wouldn't mind seeing them.
I would love to see the Nuggets in the finals.
The biggest thing that gets forgotten is the Nuggets are a 3 seed. It's not even they're like a lower seed in the West. They were the 3rd best team in the Western Conference.
It's just that the Western Conference was so looked at like LA. Like, I guarantee you every like high-end analyst that wasn't biased would say that the Lakers or the Clippers would be in the Western Conference.
Which, I mean, was completely reasonable at the time.
Yeah.
All right, I guess that's going to kind of wrap up the NBA segment. We are going to be back to preview all the day game week 3 matchups in the NFL next. Welcome back to Go Chat. We are here, and it's the NFL week. We're starting to get into the swing of things. It's going to be week 3 tomorrow, because you guys are watching this on Saturday. So we're just kind of run through the games. Let's see who everyone has in the matchups. I mean, we're at a point in the season now where, I mean, a 3-0 start is a really good start. An 0-3 start could mean maybe no playoffs for that team. So, I mean, we're just going to kind of run through and see what kind of matchups we got, see who we got winning the games. These will not be counted for our Pick'em series, though. I will make that known. Our first game of the day is going to be the Chicago Bears versus the Atlanta Falcons. Chicago is 2-0, and the Falcons are 0-2 after a tough loss to Dallas. Who do we have winning this, and who's to look out for here?
I got the Falcons winning. The Bears, kudos for them for being 2-0, but they did beat the Detroit Lions where they should have not won. If DeAndre Swift actually can catch a ball, pretty much his job. And then they played the Giants, who obviously without Saquon got hurt. They were a little they weren't prepared for Saquon being out. They had Lewis in. We've talked about that last episode if you want to go check that out. So I'm going to take the Falcons here. They looked good other than blowing a frigid lead. They looked good. But Matt Ryan's been looking really good too. So Matt Ryan's my guy to look out for.
Tommy, who are you taking here?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Matt. I'm going to take the Falcons. Like you mentioned, they had that bad loss to the Cowboys. It was 40-39, I believe. So the offense was rolling, but the defense obviously struggled. So I'm going to look for them to bounce back. But the Bears, they played well early on, 2-0. So I think it'll be a good game, but I'm going to take the Falcon.
Mike.
Both these teams should be 1-1. Bears should have won their first game, and the Falcons definitely should have won their second game. But I'm going to take the Falcons too. Julio Jones is a game time decision. He hasn't practiced this week due to a hamstring injury. He looked hobbled against the Cowboys, but even if he doesn't play, I think the Falcons will still win. I really don't think the Bears are a good team. But my player to watch out for would be Russell Gage, who would slide into that wide receiver 2 spot. He's been a big player for them so far. 12 targets in week 1, 9 in week 2. I think he'll have about 10 targets this week, even if Julio does play. So watch out for Russell Gage this week.
Well, I'm going to go with Chicago here. I think with Julio being a game time decision, and he was really a non-factor in their week 2 loss. Even when they put up 39 points, I think he had 1 catch. Because, he was on my fantasy team, and he absolutely stunk it up. So him being a game-time decision, it's questioning for me. It's troubling for me to pick the Falcons here. I think the Falcons are going to fall to 0-3. I think a player to watch out for, I think the only way the Falcons are going to win this game is if Todd Gurley can get going. Todd Gurley's really been a non-factor their first 2 weeks of the season. So if Todd Gurley can get going, I can see the Falcons winning this, but I also want to keep an eye out on the Chicago defense. The Chicago secondary specifically, because if Julio doesn't play, Riley Ridley's going to be the main target there, or Cage. So definitely just see how they not Calvin Ridley, not Riley Ridley. Riley Ridley's in Chicago.
I got confused because I thought you were talking about the Chicago offense for a second.
Riley Ridley's in Chicago. Calvin Ridley is definitely going to be matched up with if Julio can't play. All right, moving on to the second game. This is going to be a really good game, maybe one of the best day games. It's going to be the Rams and the Bills. Tommy, I'll start with you here.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go with the Rams. I think it's gonna be a close game. I just have a feeling it's gonna be LA in this one.
Matt.
Man, this is such a hard pick. I'm gonna go with the Bills though. The Rams going up to winning their first 2 games were great. They looked great, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Josh Allen. He's made some very awful plays. But then again, Josh Allen played great last week, throwing 415 yards or whatever on that Dolphins defense. I get that, we could compare those defenses. But I'm going to take the Bills here. Player to watch out, Diggs, Stephon Diggs.
Mike, who you got?
Taking the Bills too. I think the Rams offense is really predicated around their short passing game and the running attack. And I think the Bills have the defense to stop them. They have a great run defense, and they got Tre'Davious White, who could definitely cover those little short flats and out routes. So I'm going to take the Bills here. I'll say the player to watch out for is Tre'Davious White.
Well, I'm going to take the Bills as well. I did say that I'm not very high on the Bills. I think they came into the season a little bit overrated. We saw in the first 2 weeks they had some miscues against the first.
You're wishy-washy, dude, on the Bills. I don't know what you're thinking.
I am wishy-washy. No, I am wishy-washy on them because they came into the season overrated and they've made some miscues, but Josh Allen's really excelled. I don't know what to think about him right now, but missing kicks in week 1 against a bad Jets team and then being down in Miami in week 2, that's a tough start. Those are 2 not very good opponents for you, and you came into the season as, possible AFC favorites. So I would slow the roll a little bit on Buffalo, but I do see them winning this game, and I would say my player to watch is definitely Devin Singletary because Zach Moss is out for Buffalo. Sean McDermott made that known. So Devin Singletary is the player to watch for. See if he can carry a role in that backfield. Our third game is going to be the Washington football team versus the Cleveland Browns. I'll start off here first. I think Cleveland could win this game pretty easily. I just think Cleveland's really getting in the flow. They looked good against Cincinnati there in week 2. The offense looked pretty good. Baker made a couple bad throws. I mean, he had a really bad interception in the middle of the field. But I think Odell Beckham is really he's gonna break out this week. I can see that. So he's gonna be my player to watch. Tommy, I'll throw it over to you now.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you, Connor. I think that the Browns, they're starting to roll a little bit. They won their last game, and I think they'll continue it this weekend.
Mike.
I'm gonna take the Browns as well, but watch out for Washington's front seven. They've shut out the rushing attack of the Eagles and the Cardinals so far this season. So they have a really strong front seven that can defend against the run really well, which is Cleveland's strength. So I think Baker Mayfield is going to be huge to attack that weak Washington secondary. So my player to watch out for is Baker Mayfield.
Matt.
I'm going to take the Browns. I'm going to watch out for Kareem Hunt. He played great against the Bengals.
All right, let's just keep on rolling now. We got the Titans and the Vikings. Matt, I'll throw it to you here first.
The Vikings have been awful. Kirk Cousins has played awful. Titans here. I'm not no doubt in my mind.
Mike?
Yeah, it definitely has to be the Titans. The Vikings have been so disappointing. I mean, yeah, you don't have Danielle Hunter, but their secondary is absolutely awful. Their offense hasn't been as good as it should be. I'm taking the Titans here.
Tommy?
I'm going to disagree here. I'm going to go with the Vikings just because I was like looking before the season when I was deciding who I was going to pick for the division winners. And a lot of people had the Vikings winning the division there. Obviously, they haven't looked good. I know, but I have a feeling that they're not going to start the season 0-3. Titans have looked great, like you said. So I know that they're probably going to win, the Titans, I mean. But I'm going to pick the Vikings because I don't think they're going to start out 0-3, but we'll see.
Let's not forget, Mike was one of the people that said the Vikings were going to win that division.
Yep.
And now
I didn't know Danielle Hunter was going to be hurt.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You don't have to back yourself up. I'm going to go with the Titans here. They've looked really good. Player to watch out, Derrick Henry. He's yet to get in the end zone here in the first 2 weeks. I think he hits pay dirt a couple times this game.
Oh, totally forgot player to watch out for Ryan Tannehill. He's been lighting up. He's going to light up against this weak Vikings secondary.
All right, we'll just keep on rolling now. We have the Las Vegas Raiders and the New England Patriots in New England. Tommy, I'll start you off with this tough one.
I'm going to go with the Patriots. The Raiders have looked great, but I just think because it's in New England, they're going to win. Obviously, they don't have fans, so it's not the same as a normal season. But Cam Newton, I think he'll get them a win. It's a big game, obviously, with Vegas now. So I'm going to pick the Patriots on Sunday.
I'm going to go Raiders. I am going to go Raiders. I don't need any explanation. I think they've looked really good the first 2 weeks. I think Derek Carr may have finally found his real role. He's kind of settled into a role now in Vegas. And, I mean, he has Josh Jacobs. I think Josh Jacobs could do well against that New England defense. Darrell Walker has looked really good the first 2 weeks. Darren Waller. Darren Waller. Shut up. Okay. He's going to be my player to watch out for. I think if he can have a good game, he's going to lead him to a win. Matt?
I forgot the teams at first for a second, but I'm going to go with the Patriots. I think Cam Newton played great. I like the Raiders. I think they're a good wild card team so far in 2 weeks, but I don't think that they're going to beat the Patriots after how the Patriots played last week and how bad how bad Drew Brees played last week without Michael Thomas. I think that played a pretty big role in that loss for them. So I'm going to go with the Patriots. Cam Newton watch.
I'm going to go with the Pats here. I think this game is predicated on how well they stop Josh Jacobs. I know he was limited at practice this week, so that's kind of something to worry about, kind of. But I think Josh Jacobs will be a full go. But even if, I think the Patriots are going to be able to come out on top.
All right, we got Niners Giants now. Niners are on their second straight week on the MetLife turf after having some injuries there on the first time. I'm going to pick the Niners here. I just think that the Giants just really haven't looked, and even with the Niners injuries, it's not going to be enough for the Giants to take them down. Mike,
I'm going with the Niners. The Giants absolutely stink. They lost their best player. I mean, Sterling, their best wide receiver is out. They just suck. I'm going with the Niners.
Pat,
Niners, no question.
Tommy.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I think the Giants are gonna have a pretty rough year all around. So, yeah, their winning isn't gonna start on Sunday. That's for sure.
I do want to mention though that the Niners only have a 3.5 spread. So I mean they're giving
That's
the
because they don't have a quarterback
Oh right, Nick
or
Mullins.
tight end. Kittle's out.
Jared McKinnon is going to have a big game.
All right, let's just keep on cranking. Now we have two 0-2 teams in the Bengals and the Eagles. The Bengals should not be 0-2. I just do want to make that known. Joe Burrow's had a good start to his season. I'm going to pick the Bengals here over the Eagles. You're making a face at me, Mike, and I say that because week 1 there was a missed kick.
I mean, yeah, but it would have tied the game. It wouldn't have won it for him.
Correct, but I mean, whatever.
Should it be 0-1-1 with the tie?
Make your pick, Mike.
I'm going to take the Eagles here. I think Miles Sanders is going to absolutely shred the Bengals defense. I hope the Bengals win. I pray to God the Bengals win, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'm taking the Eagles here.
And my player to watch is going to be Carson Wentz. He's looked awful, and he really hasn't looked good. And I've had high hopes for Carson Wentz because he had that MVP season. You guys have heard me on here talking pretty high about Carson Wentz, but he really hasn't looked good. Still better than Dak Prescott, though. Matt.
Mike, it's been 2 weeks in the NFL, so I don't want to hear it. Like,
but even if with it,
we can't get ahead.
We're not going to get into this. We're not going to get into this right now. This segment is going to last forever. If we get into Dak versus Carson Wentz.
We can't get in way deep into it. I'll have a conversation at the end of the year, but it's been 2 weeks. I think Carson has played. Well, I'm going with the Eagles, but I think Carson's played two very the Washington football team. Their D line. We talked about that. They're pretty much. I think they're very underrated. And then playing the Rams defense, two good defenses. It's gonna be a real test for him against the Bengals defense. So I'd watch out for him. I think that this is kind of his. It's his last hurrah. I think if he stinks it up, I think Hurts might be in contention for the starting.
I don't think they're going to bench him. They're paying him $30 million a year, over $30 million a year. I don't think 3 bad weeks is going to force him to the bench, regardless of how much capital they have in their backup quarterback.
All right, guys, we kind of got to keep this moving. We don't want our fans just be sitting here, just keep draining through this. Tommy, who's your pick on this game?
I'm going to go with the Eagles. I think that Joe Burrow is going to play well, and I'd like to see him get his first win, but I just think the Eagles are going to win this weekend.
And our final 1 o'clock matchup of the week is going to be the 0-2 Texans versus the 2-0 Steelers. Matt, who do you got here?
Listen, I think if we were doing this as a pick'em, I would go safe and go with the Steelers, but I'm going to go with the Texans as the upset of the week. Texans, they don't want to start 0-3. No team wants to start 0-3. I think Steelers are great. Ben Roethlisberger's been looking, good, not back to the regular Ben that we've seen before. But I don't know. I just think there's something that's telling me the Texans are going to win.
Tommy, Pittsburgh's your team. Your team. Who are you going with?
They are my team, but I think I'm going to agree with Matt on this one. If it was a pick 'em, I would go with the Steelers because they are my team. But I don't know. I find it hard to believe that Deshaun Watson, I don't think that he's going to start the season 0-3. I just don't think he'll let it happen. And Houston is a good team. So you got to respect them. So I think they will put a win. That didn't come out right. I was going to say put one in the win column. But, yeah, I hope the Steelers win, though.
Mike, who you got?
I'm going with the Steelers here. It's a pretty easy decision for me. Texans have played the best 2 teams in the National Football League. Now they're playing probably the 3rd hardest opponent on their schedule. So it's definitely easy for me to see that they're going to go 0-3, but I think they'll bounce back a little bit throughout the season.
I mean, the Texans, after being the team that they've been the past couple years, do not want to fall 0-3. But I think they're going to. I just think Pittsburgh is too good this season. It's too good. I really think Ben's playing through the first 2 weeks. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but he's playing some of the best football he's played in quite some time. Again, only 2 weeks in. I don't want to get too ahead, but I'm very excited to see the year progress with Ben Roethlisberger and that Juju Smith connection just continue to grow. Now we're going to move into our 4 o'clock games. We're going to start with an 11.5-point spread game. It's going to be the Colts and the Jets in Indianapolis. I'll go last for this game. Tommy, I'll throw it to you.
I'm going to pick the Jets. I think that Sam Darnold's going to get the team going. Obviously they've looked awful, and they're not the pick here for most people, but I'm going to pick the Jets.
Mike?
Tommy, what are you doing, buddy? The Colts are winning this game. Listen, if it was a 20-point spread, I still think I'd take the Colts on that spread. It's the Colts here easily. I don't need to get into it. The Jets suck.
Matt?
If the Jets win, we have to give Tommy credit. But the Colts are going to win. The Jets are looking awful. I don't even want to talk about how bad they are.
I want to support Connor's team, though. That's why I did it. I'm going with the underdogs this week. So.
Tommy, I'm glad one of us is supporting my team. I'm got to go to the Colts. I just think the Jets are too banged up. They're one of the most banged up teams in football. Their starting wide receivers are still all out. Jameson Crowder isn't playing. Rashad Perriman isn't playing. Denzel Mims still isn't playing. So once again, we're relying on Chris Hogan, Braxton Berrios, and Josh Malone. And they're not going to get it done, and it's just going to slow the progression of Sam Darnold even more. Le'Veon Bell still isn't in the backfield, so Frank Gore, the timeless machine, is just going to keep running the ball and hopefully break a couple runs. This one wasn't hard. I'm very surprised to hear Tommy go Jets. I will be rooting for the Jets like you can never believe, but there's not much to expect, and we're into week 3, which really sucks.
Yeah, well, I mean, if this one counted, though, I wouldn't pick the Jets, but, I want to support. What?
If it counted, I would pick them. I'm just kidding.
No.
We're going to go to Panthers-Chargers now. Matt, Justin Herbert was your goat of the week, and he did win goat of the week, so why don't we give it to you here? Do you think he wins another game?
Yeah, he looked impressive week 2. Week 2, he looked very impressive. One of the most impressive performances last week, in my opinion, being a rookie 7 seconds before the kickoff, knowing you're starting, and he just came out very impressive. All I have to say is very impressive. The most impressive performance last week. But I think he continues it. Panthers defense is awful. I think he's going to be very impressive, and that impressive quarterback that I will call impressive is going to be the player to watch for his impressive performance this impressive week.
All right, well, I'm going to agree with Matt here and say Justin Herbert's just going to continue going. Obviously, some rough news coming out of the Chargers team that Tyrod Taylor, when getting a pregame shot for he was punctured his lung. I was watching a segment, though, where they all know that that's a possibility of happening. It's a very low possibility, so they always say yes. But, I mean, unfortunately, it did happen. If there were a team that it would happen to in the NFL, it seems that it would just be the Chargers. They always have that kind of luck. But luckily, they do have Justin Herbert sitting there, and he is going to come out, and he's going to be impressive.
Very impressive.
I agree. I'm going to take the Chargers here. They have a fantastic secondary. And, Justin Herbert has been quite impressive. And I think he should definitely start over the course of the year instead of Tyrod Taylor. It's kind of like what we saw with Tyrod and Baker Mayfield in Cleveland.
On that Thursday night game
Thursday night game against the New York Jets. Justin Herbert will come out and be impressive once again against a not impressive Carolina Panthers defense, and he will grab a very impressive victory.
Tommy, if you use the word impressive 5 times in your speech, I'll give you $1.
Oh, okay. Really?
Go ahead.
Well, the Panthers haven't been impressive. The Chargers have been impressive. Justin Herbert has been impressive. The the Chargers coaching staff has been impressive.
All right, so now we're gonna swing it to our next.
No, wait, I said 4. I said 4.
I know you said 4, so I don't want to give you $1, so we're just gonna move on.
Okay, but picking the Chargers. Because they're impressive. But.
Oh, there you go.
And his name is John C.
Here we go.
All right, you'll get that after the show. Let's
Thank
just
you.
keep on moving. We have the Buccaneers and the Broncos. Broncos are being manned by either Blake Bortles or Jeff Driscoll. We don't really know. They're going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is an easy pick for me. I'm going to go Buccaneers. Mike, I'll throw it to you.
I'm rolling with the Bucks. Easy money.
Tommy.
I'm gonna go with the Bucks too. Tom Brady, he's gonna get them their second win of the season.
And Matt.
I'm gonna have to go with the Buccaneers, even though I think Tom Bum Brady is a bum because he's a bum. He's been looking like a bum. He's sitting on my fantasy team as a bum. Oh, man. Not our fantasy league, don't worry. But yeah, I think
League, just disclaimer, our fantasy league, we are not pulling our weight, guys.
No, I'm off.
We're like we're like 4 out of the bottom 5 teams.
Yeah.
Dean
was able to win.
he was like, "Wow, Go Chat is really disappointing in this league." I'm like, "I'm the only one with the win here. You guys are sneaking it up."
I'm gonna be real with you. I have a $10 league, another $10 league, and a $20 league. So not really looking too much into that. But no excuses. I'll pick up the pace. It's all about waiver wire. But going with the bum Buccaneers here.
All right, we've got 2 more games to go to. We'll finish with the better of the 2, in my opinion. So we'll talk about the Lions and the Cardinals here. Cardinals have looked really impressive. Who do you guys have, Mike?
I'm going with the Cardinals. They've looked absolutely fantastic throughout this year so far. I think Kenyon Drake is going to tear up the Detroit Lions defense. You know, I really hope he does, for my sake at least. And I think Kyler Murray is going to have another big game.
Matt.
The Lions have just looked absolutely awful, and the Cardinals are a fantastic team. Kyler Murray's been looking really fantastic, MVP caliber, maybe MVP caliber 2 weeks in, I don't know. But people are saying he's going to be MVP caliber. But the Cardinals are fantastic. DeAndre Hopkins is fantastic. Kenyon Drake is fantastic. That whole team is fantastic. So,
all right, Tom, just give us your pick so Matt can stop talking.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. I would have much to say about that one, but
I mean, they're just so fantastic. How could anyone not go with the Cardinals?
I
But
know.
you know what's been impressive? The Arizona Cardinals defense, only allowing 20 points to this point.
Mike, missed the memo. The word of this game was fantastic.
Well,
But let's be real.
I changed the word back to impressive, so you can impressively shut up. Okay.
That
Oh
team
my.
is not as impressive as Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's been looking very impressive.
I don't know. I think Kyler Murray has been just a little bit more impressive.
All right. Well,
Impressive doesn't mean better, but go on, Connor.
let's just swing it over to our last game of the day, and then the final 2 games are going to be in our pick'em segment. But this game is going to be the Cowboys and the Seahawks. Tough game for the boys. Mike, I'll start it with you.
Tough game for the Cowboys. I'm just telling you right now, hammer the over. I think both teams are scoring 30 points. It's going to be an absolute shootout. I think the Cowboys can win, but no shot they're stopping Russell Wilson. I'll take the Seahawks.
Wow. Matt.
Actually, you know what? Screw this. Let's go, Cowboys. I'm taking the Cowboys. This doesn't count for the pick'ems. I'm taking the Cowboys. I'm changing my mind. I think Dak's going to come out, have another 400-yard game. He's going to throw 3 touchdowns. Zeke's going to catch one of them. CeeDee Lamb's going to catch another. And Michael Gallup's going to catch the third. And Russell Wilson, he's going to come out, be awesome, throw 2 touchdowns to DK Metcalf. But no, the Cowboys are coming out on top. Greg Zuerlein, another last-second field goal. And bam, Cowboys are 2-1.
Well, thank you for that. But back to my pick, I'm gonna have to go with the Seahawks over the Cowgirls. I'll tell you what's gonna be similar from last game is the 4 fumbles in the first half. I think
That was just unlucky.
Okay, shut up so Matt can talk.
I think the Seahawks defense is just gonna absolutely they're gonna eat against those Cowgirls. I don't think it's gonna be a shootout either. I mean,
Tom.
it could be close, but I don't think it's gonna be a shootout.
Tommy, give me your pick so Mike doesn't start talking.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I think it's going to be one of the Cowboys' worst losses in franchise history. I just think – no, I don't know. It's probably going to be a close game, but I got the Seahawks.
I mean, this game's just going to be tough to watch anyway because Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are going to be on the
Why does
call.
everyone hate Joe Buck?
No.
I don't get it. I don't mind Joe Buck. He's not
All he
horrible.
does is like he just like hops on the Cowboys every time. It's like
What are you
it's like
talking about?
No, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are announcing this game, so it's going to be the
they're
announcers.
famously known for that too. Like, don't deny it. Oh my God! All right, well,
Seahawks are winning this game. They're going to be led by the future MVP of Russell Wilson. Jamal Adams is going to have a good game. I don't want to say that because I'm still a little bit salty, but
you're still a little obsessed with Jamal Adams.
he's going to have a good game today or on Sunday, not today. That pretty much wraps up our preview of NFL Week 3. We've had a little bit of fun here. I owe Tommy $1. We've used some words more than we should have. We're gonna swing into our pick'em segment now. We'll see you guys there.
Pack. I'm tied with Tommy for third. Connor is just honestly he's getting further away, but that could change in one day. So we're gonna go right into the baseball. Might as well. It's a 3-game series between the Cubs and White Sox, right?
Yeah, yep.
All right. Anything we should know before Tommy?
Nothing really. It's at U.S. Cellular Field, so the White Sox Stadium, and it's their final tune-up before they're going into the postseason. I'm not sure the last time that they were both in the postseason in the same year, but it's been a long time, so it's exciting for the city of Chicago. So it'll be a fun one.
All right, Connor, who are you gonna go with?
I don't know.
Pick.
It's a tough series. I think both teams could be resting some players because of playoff possibilities. We may not see you Darvish on the mound this week in this series, so it's gonna be tough. I think I'm gonna go with the White Sox.
Mike, what do you think?
I'm going with the Cubs. Darvish is slated to start tonight. I think he'll add another great start to his Cy Young caliber campaign. And I used his logic last time we picked a Cubs series. I think they'll win the game with Darvish pitching, and then they'll win one of the next two. Hopefully, my luck turns out well this time.
Tommy?
I'm going to go with the Cubs here. I do like the White Sox a lot, but the Yankees are probably going to play the White Sox this week, so now I got to start disliking them. So it starts today, and I'm going to go with the Cubs.
I'm going to go with the Cubs, too. Darvish is pitching. Darvish is pitching. He's my guy. He's on my fantasy team. So it's going to be the Cubs for me. NBA. Might as well go to NBA. We got the Lakers and the Nuggets game
5.
Thank you. Tonight or Saturday. Connor, who do you have?
I gotta go Lakers. I think the Lakers close this out in 5.
Mike?
Let's go Nuggets, baby. Comeback season. Let's go Nuggets. They're taking game 5.
Tommy?
See, this is a tough one. I feel like Denver could win, but I am going to go with the Lakers. I think they're going to close it out.
I'm going to go with the Lakers, too, to close it out. LeBron, I think he's just going to clutch up towards the end. He had good defense on Jamal Murray last game. So moving into the NFL, we have 2 NFL picks. It would be a little repetitive. Mike picking Tampa. We'd probably honestly all pick Tampa at this point. So we're going to go with 2 NFL games, both primetime games. We're going to start with a Sunday night game. My favorite, obviously, the Packers and the Saints. Michael Thomas, no idea what he's going to do, but unfortunately, Devontae Adams is doubtful for Sunday night. So, Connor, who are you going to go with?
I don't think it matters what Michael Thomas is doing. I don't think it matters that Devontae Adams is doing. Green Bay isn't falling this game. Green Bay's going to win.
Mike?
It's just reported that Michael Thomas is out for this game. It got reported about 20 minutes ago by Dan Graziano on Twitter. So Michael Thomas is out, but I'm going to take the Saints here. I don't see how they go down 1-2 in the season. I think the Saints are just too good of a team. I thought last week was a fluke against the Raiders.
Tommy?
I'm going to agree with Mike. I'm going to go with the Saints for this one.
Tommy, you're breaking my heart.
I know. I'm sorry. I just think that they're going to win this game. You got Drew Brees. He's still very productive, so that's who I'm going with.
He wasn't productive last game, though, and he really
Looks bad.
He's going to bounce back.
I hope he does.
I don't think he is. He depends more on Michael Thomas than Aaron Rodgers will depend on Devontae Adams at the end of the day. And I think that Aaron Rodgers, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and Alan Lazard have been capable of being that wide receiver number 2, and that can move to the wide receiver number 1. So honestly, I could be getting ahead of myself, but I don't see any way that the Packers can lose this game. Their offense is absolutely unbelievable. And Aaron Jones, they're averaging the most points. Like their offense is just fantastic.
One point I do want to bring up: the Saints do have a great running defense. So I think if they can neutralize Aaron Jones and just let their corners play one-on-one against Alan Lazard and Scantling, I think that's what's going to give them a chance to win by stopping Aaron Jones.
Do you think that they can stop Aaron Jones passing too? Because Aaron Rodgers loves to pass to Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I mean, Demario Davis is a great linebacker who can cover Aaron Jones. Same with Malcolm Jenkins. He's a great box safety. So I think the Saints are going to come out on top in this game.
And then we have the other Monday Night Football game, the battle of the two best kickers in the league, Harrison Butker and Justin Tucker. I don't know who Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson are. So, Connor, who are you going to go with?
I'm going to go Chiefs here.
Mike?
I just think Patrick Mahomes, the Baltimore's defense has been known to be very good. Patrick Mahomes is going to carve it up on Monday night.
I'm going with the Ravens here. They have just been so impressive this season. I think they're going to continue their hot streak, and I think Lamar is finally going to get the best of Patrick Mahomes. The Ravens are coming out on top in this one.
Tommy?
I'm going to agree with Connor here. I'm going to go with Kansas City. I just think that Mahomes is going to lead him to a victory. Not too much to say on this one, but I got Kansas City.
I'm going to go with Kansas City too. I think Harrison Butker is going to hit a game-winning field goal.
I would love that for my fantasy team.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, Jackson Mahomes might be playing. So I don't know who Patrick Mahomes is. I just know Jackson Mahomes myself. But, yep, that closes up another episode. This is very interesting because Mike and Connor are disagreed on everyone.
Have we disagreed on everyone?
No, I picked the Cubs.
Oh, no. Me and Connor have.
Yes.
So if one of us goes 0-4 and one of us goes 4-0, Connor's either going to jump out to a huge lead or I'm going to be right on his tail.
Yeah, I think this
this
could be a make or break for you, Mike.
I'm not nervous either. I'm super confident in my picks.
Sure.
Okay, well, we're just going to have to see what happens. Sunday night and Monday night are going to be great games, including and the Lakers Nuggets in the baseball game too.
And, you mentioned your whole analysis with Yu Darvish and everything, but when you had that analysis, he lost.
I know. I literally said that. My luck just wasn't on my side. Yu Darvish lost that game. He didn't pitch too well.
All right, we're just going to have to see what happens. But other than that, next episode is going to be a lot of baseball. Tommy's excited. I'm sure some of the fans are excited to talk a little more about the Yankees. They're going to be biased, but it is what it is. We all are biased at some point. But other than that,
no bias involved when we're talking about the best
smash
team.
that subscribe button.
No bias at all. Yankees are going to resume the chase for 28 next week. It's exciting.
Yankees in 4, they win the World Series.
All right, smash that subscribe button.
Good pick.
Follow us on Instagram, comment, whatever.
Can we just keep running in on Matt until he can finish the outro?
I'm trying to finish the outro, but you guys are killing me here. All right, well, we'll see you guys next episode. Have a good week.